Thank you. I've got to firstly talk about the scale and the scope of WestCONnex, and then its impacts on the seat of Summer Hill. And then I want to actually deal with some of the myths around WestCONnex and move on to where we are now. So, 35 kilometres from Parramatta through to Ashfield, down to St Peters, through Wallow Creek and out to the M5. This is this vast sweep of this road and tunnel network. It was originally in 3 sections, but now it's blown out to 5. There was a section between Parramatta and Ashfield, then a section between Ashfield and St Peters, and then a section from St Peters down through Wallow Creek out to the M5. But miraculously, over the last 6 months or so, another 2 bits have appeared. There's now a spur line that runs from basically Taverners Hill up to the Anzac Bridge. And then there's another one, there's another motorway, which is the M6, which runs down through the wetlands, down towards Sutherland. So suddenly this octopus has grown, and it keeps growing, and keeps growing even further. Okay, so what's it going to cost? Something like $15 billion is a conservative estimate. Okay. Amanda, can't hear? Okay, right, okay. Yeah, it's $15 billion. There is, well, what else could you do with $15 billion is one question that needs to be asked. I mean, we may debate that later on. This is the longest tunnel in the Southern Hemisphere. This sort of tunnel project has never been tested at this length. So they are entering new engineering ground in terms of this tunnel, in terms of what they're proposing to do with it. Okay, I've only got 10 minutes, probably could go on forever. So let me get on to the impacts on the seat of Summer Hill. In a way, Summer Hill is at the heart of the storm. It's in the middle of this total scheme. Okay, now tunnels require a way in and a way out. Okay, and this is where it's going to affect most of the people in this area. We're going to have tunnel entrances, portals as they're called, in and out at Concord. We're going to have portals and ramps in Frederick Street and in Wattle Street. We're going to have portals and ramps on Parramatta Road, in the vicinity of Ashfield Park and Yasmar, possibly on the Brescia site. WestCon has got an option to resume the Brescia site. They're not saying very much about it, but Woolworths has actually told us more about what's going on there, because they've also got an option on that site than WestCONnex has. So it looks as if WestCon is not interested in a mixed hybrid sort of development where you might have retail and you might have the portals underneath. They're actually talking about, no, we're not interested in that, we want the whole site. And in fact, that site has been identified by all 3 of the tenderers as being a number 1 priority for the portals in and the portals out. You know what I'm talking about? Brescia site, opposite Yasmar? Okay. All right. Now, the other portals and ramps are going to be around Tebbit Street and Old Canterbury Road. Now, the interesting thing about all of this is that they are not saying where any of this is happening. There's been a total, really, silence on information. We've been trying for 12 months to get information about this scheme and about the details of this scheme. We've been able to put together little bits of information here and there. So this is actually a summation of what we've learnt and some assumptions about what they're going to do. Now, tunnels require ventilation. And for this particular scheme, they're proposing unfiltered stacks. That's stacks with no ventilation in them. Okay, so where are these stacks likely to be? There's likely to be one in Concord, in Islay Park. There's likely to be one on the Ashfield Brescia site on Parramatta Road, or adjacent to Yasmar on the other side of the road. Okay, we understand that they've actually resumed a property outside the boundary of Yasmar, but 2 doors up from the corner of Parramatta Road, and it's possible that's where they're going to put the stack. Okay, they're going to possibly put a stack in the Jaguaro Reserve, adjacent to the City West Link. There's probably going to be one in Leichhardt, near the Anzac Bridge. Okay, there's going to be one probably at Taverners Hill or in Camperdown, and probably one in St Peters Park. Okay, now I'm not going to talk any more about ventilation because we've got an expert up here who will be talking about those issues later on. So, what are the myths about WestCONnex? The first myth is it will remove surface traffic congestion. We all know that Parramatta Road is a basket case. We all know that something needs to be done about Parramatta Road. This tunnel is not the solution. What this tunnel will actually do is to draw traffic into the area, okay? And what it will also do is that a lot of people will actually not use the tunnel because it costs money. So instead of taking traffic off the surface roads, it will actually increase the amount of traffic in the area, okay? The second myth is that it will reduce travel times. This is the big selling point for WestCONnex, you know. Oh, basically you're going to save 57 sets of traffic lights between town and the airport, which means traders can get there more quickly and there's going to be massive economic benefits. I mean, essentially, if they build it in sections, which they're proposing to do, it will actually dump traffic onto the City West Link and onto Parramatta Road. And from the plans that were released 10 days ago, it's going to dump traffic onto King Street, Newtown. So far from improving travel times, all it's doing is moving the points of congestion. From Parramatta Road, Concord, a little bit further into the city. From somewhere out near the M5 in towards King Street. Or increasing the congestion on the City West Link. Okay. Yes, Parramatta Road needs fixing, but $15 billion, not the solution, really. Okay. The third myth is that it's going to improve local communities. Okay. Now, how's it going to improve local communities when we're looking down the barrel of 200 homes and businesses being compulsorily resumed in this area? And it was said last week that 80 homes are going to go in St Peters. Okay. We are already experiencing decreased house values in this area. If you walk around these streets around here, you will see a number of places up for sale. I actually just had a conversation earlier this evening with somebody who's actually having to discount their house in order to sell it because, oh, you know, there's going to be a stake in the area, you know. So we have no control over that stuff, okay. The other part of it is there's absolute uncertainty about what's going to happen. They will not release the plans. We've got no details about anything that's going to happen here, okay? How can you plan your life? How can you plan your future? I've talked to some business people down on Parramatta Road there that are just tearing their hair out because WestCONnex will not tell them one way or another what's going on. You know, oh, we were in negotiations with you, but we've now pulled out of the negotiations. However, we retain the right to go into negotiations with you again in 12 months' time. How can you plan for the future of your business in that sort of environment, in that sort of situation? And of course, ordinary households are in the same situation. Okay. There is massive decrease in public amenity and heritage if this scheme goes ahead in this local area. They're going to be shaving the front off basically the heritage area we've got in Haberfield, and you know, there's areas of Ashfield that are seriously under threat. We're going to get increased traffic and we're going to get concentrated pollution. So, in what sense is this going to improve local communities? The fourth myth is that WestCONnex is separate from the plans for urban regeneration. Okay. Now, many of you would have heard about urban growth. Urban growth is the government's real estate agent. What they're charged with is the redevelopment of basically large areas of, like the inner west and of the city, okay? So their job is to actually resume places, okay, your place, my place and the place next door, and to parcel those up into lumps of parcels to on-sell to developers, okay? Urban growth is charged with making a profit for the government in terms of that situation. The government calls it value capture. Okay, all right. I'll move a little more quickly now, okay. The next myth is that local communities support it. Well, local councils are against it, okay. In the 12 months I've been talking to people and many of the consultations have been going on, I haven't found too many people in support of it. And it's interesting, we've now got community action groups formed up and down the whole length of the tunnel, okay. Their strategy of misinformation and no information has seriously backfired. People fear the unknown and they're not prepared to give us any details. So people get very upset and angry about that. The next myth is this is a solution for getting Sydney moving. And you NIMBYs are standing in the way of progress and economic development. Okay. Well, I'll make 2 points. This is tunnel vision and fossilised thinking. And to quote Jamie Parker, this is a 20th century solution to a 21st century problem. Somebody want to move an extension time so I can finish?
I think that's a very good concluding remark. You've got anything quickly to say?
Yeah. They've got away with minimal consultation information. They don't know what they're doing and making it up as they go along. It's already happening. 800 drill sites, 400 in some hill electorate. There's EISs underway for various sections. It can be stopped. Just look at what's happening with the East-West Link in Melbourne. And that we've got an opportunity to impact the political process, which is what this meeting is about tonight. So what's happening is they don't release any details. They're closing down Parliament this week. They're going to go to the election and claim if they win, they have a mandate. In my view, they don't. Thank you.